Start. Okay, the tutorial begins. Here's our sun. Here you see a star. Let's click on that star. That's one gem. It is 150.72 light years away. Let's zoom in on that. Notice that it's right here. Notice that our sun is right here. Let me scoot this over so you can see. Let's zoom in on the sun a little bit more. Here, notice this right here. Notice this right here. Notice this right here. And notice this right here. This, why? Because that's the Nibiru System right there. Those are either planets or moons, but they're very big. So this is either a planet or moons. This one, this one, this one, this one. But notice you see others out here. Now, is this part of the Nibiru system, or is this part of the debris field? Let's look. Because notice you can see a whole lot of little tiny dots out here everywhere. My guess is this is part of the debris field because it's scattered all around our sun. Notice it's everywhere. You see little dots everywhere. It's all scattered back in here. This is taken on today's date, 6/20. This was taken at 2:36. Remember, this is military time. So when you see 14:36, that's actually 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's 2:36 in the afternoon when this picture was taken right off Soho. So we're looking at a lot of stuff that is not supposed to be here, but yet it is. And NASA doesn't want to talk about it. But let's talk about stuff that I don't want to talk about. Now that we've gone there. Y'all, I am so upset. I'm angry. I'm beyond angry. I'm just livid. Let me tell you a story. I was checking my email, and I received one email that had a list of questions. Well, you know, I normally answer questions that have been asked for me. But as I got to the middle of the list, I started noticing the questions got really weird. And so I thought, well, this must be a troll. This, you know, these questions are too weird for me to even take seriously. So I decided, you know, I'm just gonna disregard this email because I don't have time for crazy ass people. So I went to the next email, and the strange thing was, they had the same list of questions in the exact same order. They used a couple of different words, but it was basically the same questions. So I thought, well, that's odd. Well, maybe it's a troll that, you know, trying to get my attention. So I thought, well, that's just weird. So I went to another email, and again, the same group of questions. I couldn't figure this out. I'm thinking, are trolls just trying to slam me? What's going on? And again, it was email after email after email, and it's the same questions. And I'm thinking, has this troll got, multiple email accounts? Because all the email was coming from different accounts. So I couldn't figure that out. So finally, in one of the emails that had the exact same set of questions, it said, actually, uh, it was three questions in, and then a paragraph, and then it continued with the questions. But in that paragraph, it said, um, that they went to a website that I recommended, because it was a person that I said I admired. And this person had done an interview, and they were specifically asking me questions from that interview. And they gave the YouTube address so I could go and see the video myself, because I could not believe that this person who I respect and admired would say such things. So I couldn't understand why each email was asking me the exact same questions, and they were weird and bizarre questions. But I thought, um, this screen has gone black while it's loading. But I thought, I got to go to this YouTube page, and I've got to see it for myself to understand what they're talking about. Um, the initials of this person, um, is named S.O. I'm sure a lot of you have figured out who I'm talking about. Let me explain. S.O., I thought was an honest person. I thought was a legitimate Nibiru researcher. I should even tell you that I have given S.O. money for a balloon project, because I wanted to see his pictures. And unfortunately, S.O. has revealed himself to be a real SB. um, Trying not to cuss, because I've got kids in the back. I I am just so upset, and I'm so livid. I got 40 minutes into the video before I just couldn't take it anymore. And then I thought, this guy has completely lied. He's taken all the evidence from the Nibiru system written down by the ancient Sumerians and the pre-Nubians, and completely disregarded all of the evidence and kind of rewritten his own to fulfill his own religious agenda. Then he attacked and completely lied about my religion. I don't think I've ever mentioned it, because in my channel I try to stay away from religion. I'm trying to concentrate just on the facts. But in case y'all don't know, let me have full disclosure here. I'm Catholic. I don't always agree with everything that the Catholic Church says, but I am still Catholic. Um, don't send me hate mail or email on religion. I have been saved, so don't worry about it. I'm good with God. Um, but if you're going to slam the Catholic Church, there's so many things you can slam them on. You don't need to lie and make shit up. Um, that is just ridiculous, especially since you can be proven completely wrong. So why you would lie and make shit up on the Pope, is beyond me. Why you would rewrite parts of the Bible to fit your own religious agenda is insanity to me. Um, I have never, ever liked anyone who took out bits and pieces of either the Torah or the Bible or even the Quran, to fit their own agendas. That is nuts. I mean, it is completely nuts. So today I'm going to do what I never ever do. And the reason why I'm going to do it is because after I watched that one video, I couldn't even get through all of it. I sat back and I thought about it, and I calmed myself down. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to even address it because I never ever wanted to introduce religion into my channel. I just wanted to keep to the science, to the facts. And the only reason I was mad is because, well, the guy who I thought was a good guy, someone who could be trusted and who was an honest Nibiru researcher who had solicited money on his channel, and I myself had given him money for his research, um, for a weather balloon to get some fantastic pictures. And by the way, he did get some fantastic pictures. Um, Completely went on another YouTuber's station and channel and did an interview. Um, he went on Daryl Ott's um, YouTube channel and did an interview. You can go there and see it for yourself if you're interested and listen for yourself, so you know what I'm saying is true, because I couldn't even believe it. But after I calmed down, I thought, you know what? This guy has pretty much exposed himself for who he really is. Now I know the truth about him. Now I'm just going to not pay him any attention. I'm just going to let him fall by the wayside because he's revealed himself for who and what he really is. Then I got a instant message from one of my best friends who said, you have to go check out the new video that he just uploaded. And I wrote back and I said, no, I'm really not interested. This person has taught me who he really is, and now I believe him. He is not at all what he says he is. And my friend said, no, you've got to go see him, see his new YouTube channel, his new post that he just posted. And I responded back, why should I do that? And she said, because he's using your exact words on his YouTube channel. I couldn't believe it. So I went to his new YouTube channel that he and his new post, and he was using my exact words and lie. So, okay, first he discounts any evidence from the ancient Sumerians, from the pre-Nubians who wrote about Nibiru in every documented piece of evidence that we have on it. Then he disses religion. He disses my religion. He makes stuff up and says some of the craziest wild shit I've ever heard in my life, to the point where I just have decided, I just got to the point where he's a nutcase. So I'm not going to deal with him anymore. Then my friend emails me and tells me, you got to go see this new post because he's using your own words about chasing the evidence. And he dissed my job as a legal assistant. Basically what he said that pissed me off, threw me over the edge, and now I'm going to do a video to discount everything he said. He said 98% of all circumstantial evidence for murder results in a conviction. What? What? This guy's background is as a computer dude. He he does he does not have a degree in law. He has never practiced law. Um, where he gets this, it's out of thin air. That is incredible bullshit. Okay, let's just start there before we get to anything and everything else. 14% of all murder convictions are done on circumstantial evidence. 14%, which are overturned in the appeals court. So don't preach law to me. That's what I do for a living. That's one of my many jobs. I'm a legal assistant. I'm a farmer. I'm a photographer, and I'm a fine artist. So yeah, you've dissed me in every single way, and now you're using my own words to bullshit your audience. I'm calling BS on you, man. So let's go down the list and let me use science and evidence to explain everything that he's lied about. Okay, first of all, is the Nibiru System wormwood um, from the Book of Revelations? No! Where do you get this from? This is insanity. The Nibiru system has been going in and out of our solar system for millions and millions and millions and millions of years. Why? Because it's part of our solar system. It's on a 3,600-degree orbit around our sun, which travels in the space between Mars and Jupiter. That is its orbit. It never leaves its orbit. Okay, let's talk about the two instances in history that the Nibiru system caused problems. Well, if you actually read the ancient Sumerian text and bother to do the research, which I encourage all of y'all to do so you will never be tricked or manipulated by anyone who's going to lie their ass off to you for money, to sell you survival equipment, to to sell you frozen foods or excuse me, dehydrated foods for the prepper movement because there's going to be some kind of cataclysm because they say so when there is no proof of that whatsoever. Let's deal with reality, okay? Let's deal with evidence. Let's deal with science. If you don't want to deal with the evidence, if you don't want to deal with science, people, get the hell off my channel. I'm sorry I sound like a bitch, but I'm just so livid right now. In a court of law, if someone gives false testimony, they have perjured themselves. From that point on, anything that they say will be dismissed. It will not be believed. Okay? So if you disregard evidence, if you disregard science, if you disregard even the Bible, the biblical text, and try to rewrite it, please get off my channel. This isn't the channel for you. I only deal with facts. I'm researching the evidence. I'm not. If you're interested in people who make shit up and try to deceive you and try to exploit you for money or for whatever their personal gain is, you don't need to be on my channel. Okay? So let's start with. I'm sorry, I'm ranting because I'm just so livid. Let's start with the basic facts of the Nibiru system. Millions and millions and millions of years ago, when the Nibiru system first entered our solar system, it did have a collision with another planet that was called Tiamat. In this collision, part of Tiamat uh, was fractured in half. That part became the asteroid belt. The other part moved out of position from, and its original position was between Mars and Jupiter. In between that space between Mars and Jupiter, the fragment that was left moved out of that position to its current position and later became Earth. That's where Earth came from, according to the Sumerians in their ancient texts, which you could look it up yourself. There are computer programs on the internet that are completely free that translates ancient Sumerian into English so that you can read it for yourself. These are tablets, clay tablets that were written down over 6,000 years ago. So that was one cataclysm that happened that formed Earth. That was millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years ago. The second problem that occurred on Earth, let's stop this and let's look at something. Let me stop this right here. Let's look at this. The Ice Age. Why was this a problem? Let's talk. The Nibiru System never leaves its elliptical orbit. That is its orbit in space. Let me repeat that because I want everyone to understand. The Nibiru System never leaves its orbit in space. Its orbit is between the space of Mars and Jupiter. That space consists of 342,012,346 miles. That is a tremendous amount of space. But those of you who are following my channel, you know that those orbs that the Nibiru System creates heats up our atmosphere. It heats up our solar system. So not only is our planet heating up, all of the planets in our solar system are heating up. That's Mars, that's Venus, that's Saturn, that's Jupiter, etc., etc. They're all heating up because those orbs create heat. Well, at the time the Nibiru System was making its orbit around the Sun, again between the space of Mars and Jupiter, those orbs heated up the Earth at the time of when Earth was experiencing an ice age. This ice age occurred 1,300 to 1,600 years ago. Scientists cannot give you a specific date. Anyone who says, I know the date and time that the ice age ended, is making that shit up. They're completely making it up. The best scientists can estimate it's between 1,300 years ago or 1,600 years ago. Somewhere within that time frame, the ice age ended. According to the ancient Sumerians in their Sumerian text, what happened is the ice sheets melted. There was also a huge ice sheet down here in Antarctica. And what happened with the Great Flood or the Deluge, whatever you want to call it, the story of Noah from the Bible and from the Torah, according to the ancient Sumerian text, a huge ice a chunk from the side from Antarctica broke off. So a huge ice chunk broke off and fell into the sea, causing a huge tsunami that went across the land. Okay, it's very well documented. Again, all you have to do is read the ancient Sumerian text for yourself. Again, you can get a free program that translates the ancient Sumerian text into English. Um, what you want to look for is the Epic of Gilgamesh. It has the whole entire complete story. So nobody needs to make this shit up. It is well documented. So that is the second time that the Nibiru System caused some problems. Again, it's because we were in the middle of an ice age. That ended the ice age that brought us into our present age. So, okay, two times in all of history, in millions and millions and millions and millions of years, has the Nibiru System created a problem. Let's get this absolutely clear. In the beginning, when it was coming into our solar system, it hit a planet called Tiamat. And Tiamat was broken in two. Part of it became what is known as our asteroid belt, or what they call the hammered bracelet. The other part, which was originally in the orbit between Mars and Jupiter, moved out of that orbit and moved into its present day orbit and became what we now call the Earth. That was the first time. Second time, again, there was an ice age. The Nibiru system never left its orbit. It never leaves its orbit. It was orbiting between Mars and Jupiter. At the time, there was an ice age, and those orbs heated up the Earth, which melted all of this ice. When the ice melted, the water went somewhere. It went into our oceans. They talk about a giant chunk of ice that broke off the southern Antarctic. I can't even talk, I'm so mad. The southern Antarctic part and broke off and fell into the water, causing huge tsunamis that went across the land. They speak about it. All of this ice down here melted and flooded into our present day oceans. This ended the Ice Age. This is 2 times in recorded history, according to the ancient Sumerians themselves, that the Nibiru system caused problems. Well, let's talk about how terrible those problems were. The first one, when it hit Tiamat, it created Earth. Was that a horrible and terrible thing? Well, no, because we wouldn't be here if there wasn't an Earth. The second time, it ended the Ice Age. Was that a horrible and terrible thing? Well, it probably was for the people who live there, but for us who live in the present time, it was a good thing because we wouldn't want to live through an Ice Age. That would suck. So, is the Nibiru system going to cause horrible havoc now in the present time? No, we're not in an ice age, y'all. The ice age has ended 1,300 years ago or 1,600 years ago. In between that time period is when the ice age ended. We are not in an ice age. So these stories you're hearing about giant tsunamis that are going to flood the land, where the hell are they getting this shit from? They're making it up. The Nibiru system has been traveling in its same elliptical orbit for millions and millions and millions of years. Okay? So is the Nibiru system the biblical wormwood that causes the end of the earth? No! It is insanity to me that anyone would say that and say that to try to justify their own religious beliefs, that they think that the Nibiru system is wormwood. Um, it is so crazy. I don't even know what to say. Okay, the other question was, uh, does Nibiru's orbit do we orbit Nibiru's solar system? What? No, we're all in the same solar system. They are part of our solar system. We are part of their solar system. They're just other planets and moons that exist in our solar system. Uh, I don't know where this came from about we orbit their solar system. I don't know who made this shit up. It's not in Nubian text. It's not in Sumerian text. It's not in Egyptian text. It's not in Aztec text. It's not in Mayan text. It's not in Chinese text. Where is this coming from? Uh, they're making it up. They're just making it up, hoping people will believe them. Um, then they talked about the Pope. Okay, again, full disclosure here, I never wanted to make religion a part of my YouTube channel. I just wanted to stick to the science and to the facts. The reason why, well, there's 2 reasons. First of all, my relationship with God is my personal relationship and no one else's business. Okay? Just like your personal relationship with God is your business, and it's no one else's business. I hope you understand what I'm saying there. The second reason I never ever wanted to get into religion is I have a very eclectic group of friends. Let me explain that. I have friends who are Christian but not Catholic. They're Southern Baptist. I have friends who are Buddhists. I have friends who are Hindu. I have friends who are Jewish. Working in the law department, I have a lot of Jewish uh, clients, relationships with attorneys and judges. Um, I also have friendships with people who are of the Muslim faith. Um, I have a very eclectic group of friends. And the reason why we all get together is we all have mutual respect for each other's personal religious beliefs. We don't step on them, we don't trample on them. We give each other mutual respect. But I know dealing with this whole Nibiru system, at some point I was going to have to start talking a little bit about religion, but I wanted to keep it to science and the facts. I wanted to keep it straight to this, the ancient Sumerian text and what they said, so that you could go and read it for yourself, so you would never have to believe what someone else said. You would be able to go and find that evidence yourself and do the research yourself. The whole entire reason I was doing this channel is to teach you how to do the research yourself. But the lie on the Pope that set me off. Okay. He was saying that the Pope said that the third secret of Fatima, that the Pope said, go read Revelations 12:4. This is the exact words of S.O., whose name I will not mention. Okay. Again, I am Catholic. Not John Paul, not Pope Benedict, and not our current Pope ever, ever, ever said that. That is a complete and total lie. I don't know why anyone would make that shit up. No Pope in all recorded history has ever said that the Nibiru system is Revelation 12. Never, ever, ever. Actually, the third secret of Fatima, the story that even I don't believe, and again, I'm Catholic, was the third secret of Fatima is that one of the popes would be shot with an arrow and be killed. He would be assassinated. As a Catholic, I don't believe that. I don't think that would ever happen. Not shot with an arrow, not in this modern day age. Has a pope been shot with a gun? Yeah, that'd be Pope John Paul. Um, does that mean that the secret of Fatima, the third secret of Fatima, was fulfilled? I don't know. Take that as you will. I don't hold much regard for what tiny little children said. Um, Now, if some of y'all are Catholic and you're going to get pissed at me for saying that, go ahead. I put my faith in God, not what a 5-year-old said. But that's just me. Oh, wait a minute. She wasn't 5 at the time. She was 8. I'm sorry. She was 8 years old at the time when the whole Fatima thing happened. So do I put my faith in that? No, I put my faith in God. You want to send me emails, hate emails for that? Go ahead. I'm not going to read them. I'm just, I'm just going to delete them. Um, Again, you're entitled to your own opinion, but then again, so am I. But no pope ever said that the Nibiru system is wormwood, and go read Revelations 12, and that we're all going to die, and it is the end of the world. That is such crap. That is such crap. Then S.O. went on to say that he was getting his information from someone who was channeling an ET. Give you a minute to think about that for a moment. He literally said the information was coming from a person who was channeling an extraterrestrial. So you're going to disregard recorded history of the pre-Nubians and Sumerians. You're going to disregard what is written down in the Bible. You're going to disregard all of the evidence, but you're going to pay attention to someone who is channeling, who says they are channeling an extraterrestrial. That's what you're going to put your faith in. Well, alrighty then. Good luck to you on that. It is so ridiculous to me that I can't even believe it. Words cannot even express how ridiculous that is. But good luck to you now. Then he goes on to say that these extraterrestrials, according to the person who was channeling the extraterrestrials, are going to blaspheme God. Okay. If anyone had ever bothered to read the ancient Sumerian texts for themselves, to gain knowledge and understanding, and know that the Torah and the Bible are based on the ancient Sumerian text, you would know that our version of God, our belief, our understanding, actually came from the Anunnaki, who taught us their version of religion. So the God that we worship, the Omega, is from their understanding of God. Okay? So for someone to say that the information that they are using is coming from someone who is channeling an extraterrestrial who told them that the Anunnaki, or the people of Nibiru, would return to Earth and blaspheming God, is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Don't believe me, y'all. Go read the ancient Sumerian text for yourself. All of the evidence is there. So that is insane. Also, the other information that this person who is channeling the extraterrestrials gave them, and what SO is using, is that Nibiru is an iron oxide planet. Well, at no point in time in pre-Nubian, ancient Sumerian, Egyptian, Mayan, Aztec, or Oriental writings does it say that Nibiru is an iron oxide planet. So the person who is channeling the extraterrestrial is wrong. Is it a red planet? Well, yes, because the ancient Sumerians told you that. Actually, their exact words were a great planet, reddish in radiance, around the sun an elongated circuit Nibiru makes. They described their planet where they came from as a planet, which is reddish in radiance. Well, we have two planets that we know of that are red. One of them is Mars. So is Mars made up of iron oxide? Where did this come from? Actually, the dust that covers the surface of Mars is a fine talcum powder. Beneath the layers of dust, the Martian crust consists mostly of volcanic basalt rock. The soil of Mars also holds nutrients such as sodium, potassium, chloride, and magnesium. Notice I didn't say iron oxide. Why? Because Mars is not made up of iron oxide, but yet it's red. So how could that be? Well, it could be because it's not made of iron oxide. We know this. You Google Mars. What is Mars made of? In the information I just gave you, you will find just because something is red does not mean it's made up of iron oxide. Just because someone is channeling an extraterrestrial and says it's true, it does not make it true. So what is the other planet in our solar system that's red that we know of? Well, you may or may not know about this, but Pluto is also a red planet. Underneath all the snow and ice, it's a red planet. Is it made of iron oxide? Well, we don't know. We've just sent satellites out into space to study Pluto. A satellite has not landed on Pluto. No soil sample has ever been conducted on Pluto. We don't know what the soil, what the earth, what the, excuse me, I shouldn't have said earth, what the grounds or what the planet, and I still call Pluto a planet even though I know that's technically incorrect. I'm one of those old school biatches who refuse to demote Pluto, but we still don't know what it's comprised of. But we do know that it is red. Underneath the ice and snow, it is red. So, then, okay, the person who was channeling the extraterrestrial said that Nibiru is a brown dwarf. Again, nowhere in the ancient Sumerian text did they ever say that Nibiru is a brown dwarf. Actually, they called it a planet. If you don't know what a brown dwarf is a star. Let me get the exact. Oh, here it is. Okay, a red dwarf is the smallest of the stars because it's also been accused of being a red dwarf. But SO did not say that. He specifically said it was a brown dwarf. But let's see. The exact temperature of a red dwarf is 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Could the people of Nibiru live on something that's 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit? No, they could not. A brown dwarf, the coolest a brown dwarf has ever been recorded, is at 800 degrees Fahrenheit. Could the people of Nibiru live on a star that is 800 degrees Fahrenheit? Well, first of all, they never said they lived on a star. They said they lived on a planet. Again, you're completely disregarding the evidence, what they said about themselves. They said they lived on a planet, not a star. They're millions and millions and millions more evolved than us. They have more science, more knowledge, etc., etc. I think they would know the difference between a star and a planet. So why would they lie about living on a star or a planet? They didn't lie. They said they live on a planet. It is reddish in radiance. So again, the person who is channeling the extraterrestrials are not giving you accurate information. I strongly suggest you go back and look at the evidence, which would be the ancient Sumerian text, pre-Nubian text, Egyptian text, Mayan text, Aztec text. You can also look at the Hopi text, very interesting. Chinese text. If you're going to study this subject, the information is there. It's not like it's ever been hidden from you, and only people with special powers can understand it. That is such bullshit. Anyone and everyone who is willing to get off their little tushy and do the research and learn can learn about this. So you never have to be lied to or manipulated ever again. Don't ever take anybody's word for it. Learn for yourself so you can decipher who's telling you the truth and who is making up crap for their own personal gain and or profit. He also said, SO, we're still talking about, we're going for pages here. He also said that the chemtrails that he did personal analysis on, or, oh, excuse me, that's not true. He said one of his subscribers did personal analysis on and sent him the results. On his own channel, he posted those results. I was watching that video. I did see that. His original results were aluminum 50%, barium, and lithium. Well, that was his original um, results that he put on an old YouTube post. This current post, this current interview that he did with Daniel Ott, spelled OTT, he stated that the aluminum was 500%. So it went from 50% to 500%. He just contradicted his own, what he calls research. Um, he said that the barium was at 50%, but his old YouTube post said something completely different. He also mentioned lithium. Let's talk about those three substances for a moment. Because first of all, I've never said that they are not chemtrailing. If you are a subscriber or a viewer of my channel, you know that they are. They, they definitely are. I have explained to you the difference between the exhaust that an airplane makes in the sky and chemtrails. They are two completely different things. I never questioned SO's test results that his subscribers sent to him. Not at the time. I don't know if I should now or not. Um, but excuse me, aluminum reflects light. So does it make sense to me that they would put aluminum in the chemtrails? Well, we've talked about the chemtrails hiding not the Nibiru system, not the orbs, but the chemtrails going across the sun, hiding the sun, shielding the light, shielding the heat. We've also talked about chemtrails being used also sometimes, not always, sometimes to hide the orb. But again, my opinion is to shield the heat because we know the orbs give off heat. But they don't hide the Nibiru system. They're not hiding it. They can't hide this. Um, they're using it to shield the heat. Aluminum also reflects light. It reflects ultraviolet and it reflects infrared light back out into the solar system. So any UV rays, ultraviolet rays, um, etc., that could be harmful for us is being reflected out. They're using the chemtrails to reflect out the light, the heat and the light. Barium also. But then he got into this deep discussion about lithium. Um, I've never talked to y'all about lithium before. I just assumed that people knew what lithium is. Did you know lithium is a salt? Let me repeat that in case you didn't get that. Lithium is a salt. our oceans are comprised of salt water. Okay, that's naturally forming on this planet. Now let me specifically go into the difference between a pharmaceutical grade lithium, which is a completely different thing, as a naturally occurring lithium, which is a salt that comprises our oceans, because our oceans lithium is where they take the salt and they condense it, they mix it with other chemicals. Um, SO never said that they were using pharmaceutical lithium. He just said his test results showed that there was lithium present. Well, because our oceans are made of salt water, if there wasn't salt or any form of salt in the atmosphere, in the air, I would be highly suspicious, because that's part of life. So he never said if it was a pharmaceutical grade lithium, which is a different thing than a naturally occurring lithium salt. Um, but he exaggerated the numbers from a previous post that he had on his own YouTube channel, which I thought was interesting. Why would you lie about stuff you'd already posted? Um, he also said, now, now's the part where he just throws science out the window. He also said, and I'm not kidding, y'all need to just go to that video and just watch it. He also said that he believes that the Nibiru system entered our solar system from underneath the sun, came around the sun, and somehow put on the brakes. And it's been going around the sun now since 2011 or 2012. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let me explain to you how this works. When a planet or planets go around the sun, especially in an extreme elongated orbit, they do not slow down. They do not have brakes. If anything, they speed up because of the gravitational force. They speed up and they are flung out back into the solar system. Okay, planets don't have brakes. Moons don't have brakes. They're not cars. They don't stop or slow down. just, it's just insane. Okay, if y'all don't believe me, if you have children who are in elementary school, go open up their science book. Or if you don't have children, Google it. I'm sorry I'm laughing. It's just insanity. Again, planets don't have brakes. They aren't like cars. They don't slow down to take a look at the sun. They move in an orbit around the sun. The sun's gravitational force fills them with energy and they are flung back out into space. That's how it works. That's how everything keeps rotating out in space. There's a gravitational force, there's a resistance, and there is a force. So to suggest that a planet or a moon has brakes and slows down is just beyond asinine. So go Google that. Google how the planets revolve around the sun. That's basic elementary science, y'all. Then another outrageous thing he said, and he really did say this, and again, don't take my word for it. Go look at the video. It's called Daniel Ott, spelled O-T-T, interviews S-O. If you don't know who S-O is, Well, I'm assuming all of you do. But I'm not going to say his name again because he's basically exposed himself for who he really is. And now I know. And I will never give him money again because I was one of the dumbasses, believe it or not, who believed in him, who thought he was an honest person, who was an actual researcher, who was had a quest for knowledge and was chasing the evidence. So I gave him money for his balloon flights. And he did take some really good pictures of the orbs. Again, he called them planets next to the sun. If you viewed my channel before, you know we've already discussed that. It's physically impossible for a planet to be beside the Earth without the Earth being destroyed. It is basic science. Look that stuff up. Google it. If you don't have a science book, Google it. Google what would happen if there was a planet right beside Earth. What would happen? They'll tell you the exact same thing I told you. The Earth would be destroyed. The Earth would never survive. We wouldn't be here. So, no, there is no planet beside the Earth. Planets do evolve around the sun. The Nibiru system is revolving around the sun, but it's revolving in a space between Mars and Jupiter, in between that space. Just okay. The other thing that set me off, he literally said the Virgin Mary was impregnated by an alien. What? An extraterrestrial came down and shagged Mary? I didn't read that in the Bible. Did you read that in the Bible? I never read that. Um, that is so ridiculous. I don't even think I need to address that. Um, to all of you who are not Christian, I don't mean to offend you at all. Again, I'm full disclosure here. I am a Christian. I am Catholic. Um, it is not part of my religion that the Virgin Mary was shagged by an extraterrestrial. That was never in the Bible at all. Never mentioned, never in the ancient Sumerian text, in the pre-Nubian text, in the Egyptian text, in the Aztec text, the Mayan text, the Chinese text. Never was it ever written down that the Virgin Mary was shagged by an extraterrestrial. So where he got that from, I have no idea. I believe Jesus was exactly who he says he was. Um, I'm going to take the word of Jesus over the word of a guy who's believing a person who is channeling an extraterrestrial, and that's where they're getting their information from. Um, the last thing that he said that I'm going to talk about, he said that the sun, another sun, pushed away our magnetosphere. Okay, we have talked about that. Y'all who have visited my channel or who are subscribers to my channel, you know that this is an orb. This is an orb. It is a reflection of a planet or a moon that is over here next to the sun. It's in the morning, it is over on the west side of the sun. In the afternoon, it is moved over to the east side of the sun. Why? Because the sun moves in the sky. But the light from the sun hits one of those planets or moons, casting the orb out into the sky, out into space, and sometimes down to Earth. I should write a song about that because it just sounds like I'm completely repeating myself. But this is not a second sun. This is not a second sun. There is no such thing as a second sun. This is an orb. It is a reflection. So, no, there is no second sun. Why he would say another sun pushed away our magnetic sphere. Let's talk about that. Let's deal with the science. Again, there is no second sun. It is an orb. It is a reflection of a planet or a moon that is part of the Nibiru system that is casting its light out into space, out into our sky, and down into Earth. But the sun itself gives off solar flares. These solar flares do affect our magnetosphere. A huge and violent solar flare, which has recently happened, did affect our magnetosphere. It was scientifically recorded. Unfortunately, I don't have that data up here for you to see, but it was scientifically recorded. You can look that up yourself. You may have heard of solar flares. Google that. Our sun gives off a tremendous amount of energy, and sometimes what's called a solar flare, or a huge chunk of that energy, flares off the sun out into space that does affect our magnetosphere. Okay? That's, that's just a part of nature. Solar flares happen. They aren't anything new. They have been going on for millions and millions and millions and millions of years. It's part of nature of our solar system. It's nothing new. Again, there's no such thing as a second sun. It is an orb. It is a reflection from this little red dot. Okay, watch. Here's the orb, which is a light. There's a red dot. Here's our sun. I'm going to explain it to you one more time. Everybody who's visited my channel or subscribes to my channel knows the chant. Chant along with me, if you will. The light from the sun shines on the dot, which casts a reflection out into the sky, which is an orb, also out into space and down into Earth. This orb is a reflection of a planet or a moon from the Nibiru system. It is not a physical object. The physical object is right over here. I don't know how many times I have to explain that to you. This is not a second sun. This is not a planet or a moon out in our sky. It is a reflection of a planet or a moon in the Nibiru system who travels between the space of Mars and Jupiter. That space, let me get my notes out, is approximately 342,012,346 miles. That is the space between Mars and Jupiter. This is the space where the Nibiru system travels, has traveled, is traveling, and will be traveling for millions and millions of years. Why? Because it's part of our solar system. It's it's not magic. It's just science. It's just nature. It's just part of the cosmos we live in. Um, Again, I'm sick and tired of y'all. I gotta be honest with you. Okay, I too watch other people's YouTube videos, and I'm just sick and tired of the bullshit. Um, I've explained the science to you. I've given you evidence. I've shown you how to do the research yourself. I've shown you how to go to the satellites and the telescopes and look for yourselves. Um, I think that we should start a movement. I think this is the best way to combat people who are lying and manipulating other people for their own selfish gain, financial gain, um, etc., etc., etc. I think that from now on, when someone says something in a YouTube video about the Nibiru system, you should put in their comment section, where do you get your information from? And make them give you where they got that information from. Whether it is from a science book, ask them the name of the science book, who wrote it. Is it from a article that a physicist wrote? Ask them for the name of the physicist and what article it was published in. Etc., etc., etc. In other words, call them on their bullshit. There's too much absolute bullshit about the Nibiru system out here on the internet. It's driving me crazy. You're sending me email telling me that it's driving you crazy. Um, I think I have to apologize to my own viewers and subscribers, because at one point in time, I really had faith and believed that this SO person was an actual nice guy who was a researcher who was chasing down the evidence. Who, by the way, just that is one of the lines that I keep using in my YouTube videos, and that's the line he just used in his the video he just posted. So he's been watching my videos also. He's using my own words and the sentences that I use now in his latest video. So now I think we should start a movement. It's called Chase the Evidence. If someone posts a YouTube video, ask them where their source is. Where did they get that information? Is it based on the ancient Sumerian text? Is it based on a pre-Nubian text? Is it based on an Egyptian text? Is it based on a Mayan text? An Aztec? A Hopi? Is it based on a Chinese text? Ask them where their information is coming from. And if they tell you the information is coming from somebody who is channeling an extraterrestrial, and then they ask you to give them money, I wish you the best of luck with that, y'all. I feel dumb and stupid that I actually gave this SO person money for his balloon flight. I was tricked and I was deceived because I chose to think the best of him, and now that his true nature has been revealed to me, what did Maya Angelou say? When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Now I believe him. I believe he is a nut job. I believe he's doing it for money. Unfortunately, I'm one of the dumbasses who gave him money. So what does that say about me? I wanted to believe him, but now I see who he really is and what he's really about, and it's crap. So for now on, if y'all choose to watch his videos, and like I said, one of his videos from his last balloon flight, he got excellent pictures. So good. Just really, really good. He said that they were planets. No, he got pictures of the reflections. But they were some of the best pictures I have ever seen. And I even asked him if I could have some of those pictures. Where can I get them at? Would you ever put them in a JPEG so that we could study them? And he responded in an email and a comment on one of his own YouTube videos that he was going to set up a website so we could all go there and look at the pictures, but he didn't want Google to have ownership over them. So he was going to set up a website. I was looking forward to getting my hands on those pictures. Now, after the interview that he gave with David Ott in his last posting of his newest YouTube video, where he literally used my own words to bullshit people, I'm not going to believe anything that he says or that he posts, because he's a bullshit artist, and I'm calling bullshit on him. And I think everyone who's really a serious student of the Nibiru system should call bullshit on not only him, but every other person who posts YouTube videos on the Nibiru system. Ask them specifically, where do you get your information from? Where are you basing this information? Where is the evidence that you're using? Ask them, confront them. Again, I'm just so tired of the bullshit. I'm sure y'all are too. I keep getting emails from y'all and comments from y'all saying thank you for keeping it real, giving us the science, and keeping religion out of it. And again, I never ever wanted to bring up religion. I never wanted to discuss that with y'all because my religious beliefs are personal and it's between me and God and none of your business. And I don't mean that to sound like a bitch. I'm just being completely honest with you. Just like your religious beliefs and your relationship with God is your personal business and nobody else's. Um, I strictly, really, really wanted a YouTube channel just about the science, just about the facts, um, and keep religion out of it. And also, my second reason, I have so many friends an eclectic group of people from various backgrounds, from various religious backgrounds, and I never wanted to offend them or impose my own religion or religious views upon them. So again, I kept that in mind when I set up my channel. I just wanted to teach people how to do the research themselves, how to look at these telescopes and understand, north, south, east, west. This line here is a navigational point to tell you where the center of the sun is. I wanted to teach y'all about the Nibiru system that is very, very, very far away and will never leave its elliptical orbit. It's been doing it for millions and millions of years. It is doing it right now. We are lucky we are the generation who gets to look in the telescopes and look up into our sky and see this happening. Again, the Nibiru system only comes through every 3,600 years. I've taught you that the orbs in the sky, this is not a second sun. This is not a planet here. It is a reflection from the sun that hits one of the planets, the moons of the Nibiru system, and casts the orbs in space. I wanted to keep everything scientific. I really wanted to study the debris field because if there's any concern that we have as far as the Nibiru system goes, it's that debris field. And we've discussed it. I've been very, very open and honest with you about what a debris field is. I've told you that in a telescope, a meteor is like a grain of sand. You can't really see it. It's the asteroids that will be a problem. I've explained to you over and over again that when the Nibiru system does leave our solar system, when it is cast back out into space, back out into deep space, and its long elliptical orbit, most of the debris field that is around the Nibiru system will be pulled in to its gravitational force. And when it leaves our neck of the woods, out of our neighborhood, back out into space, it'll take that part of the debris field with it. The part of the debris field that I'm concerned about is out here. It is not around the gravitational force of the Nibiru system itself. Those asteroids, those meteors have to go somewhere. I have been quite honest with you in explaining to you that our neighborhood punching bag, first of all, is the planet Mars. If you've ever studied the planet Mars, and I strongly suggest you do. I strongly suggest you study this stuff. The planet Mars has always been a punching bag for us. It's always being hit by asteroids and meteors. That's why it looks the way it does. It's not pretty. Then there's the moon. our personal punching bag. If you've ever looked at our moon, all you're going to see all over the moon are holes, punch marks where meteors and asteroids have hit it over and over and over and over again. Our moon, which is our satellite, has saved us so many times from impacts from asteroids and meteors. All you have to do is look at the moon. You don't even need a telescope to look at the moon. You can Google it. You can take a pair of binoculars and go outside. I strongly suggest you do that tonight. Did you know that there's a full moon on the summer equinox, which is what September the 20th is today? That's considered quote unquote rare, but it's not really rare. It does happen in nature, but it doesn't happen very often. So tonight is a very special night. Take a pair of binoculars. Go outside. Look at the moon. Look how beautiful it is. But also notice all the punch marks where it's been hit by asteroids and meteors. For millions and millions of years, it's been our personal punching bag. But there is, let me phrase this correctly. Let me phrase this. You have to look at the odds. Is it probable that an asteroid or a meteor could possibly hit the planet Earth? Is that possible? I would be lying to you if I said no, that is not possible. It is possible. Are we prepared for such an event? Well, on this channel, we've discussed Project Bluebeam. We've discussed the lasers that the Australians say are using to measure the ozone. But we know our American scientists are using that green laser out in Antarctica to push away, to fend off asteroids. That's why our government built it in the first place, put it down in Australia. Put it down in Antarctica. Um, so the Australians are saying they're using it to measure ozone. It's a joke. But the Americans are at least a little bit more honest in saying, yes, we are using it to push away, to fend off any approaching asteroids. It is one of the mechanisms, one of the systems that our government is using to protect us. So am I saying to you that nothing at all is ever bad happen to the earth? No, I can't guarantee that. I'm not God. I'm not a mind reader. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you that nothing bad will ever happen to us. There is a possibility that an asteroid could come very close to Earth. There is a possibility an asteroid or a meteor could fall to Earth. Actually, one just did. It happened, what, June 2nd? It fell in Arizona, and they could see the lights all the way from New Mexico. It was 5 feet in diameter, caused no damage, caused no loss of life. Asteroids happen. Meteors happen. It's a part of life living in our solar system. It's a danger we face every day, but it's a danger we don't really think about. The only reason we have to think about it now is because we're looking at it in the telescopes. So if I told you that nothing bad will ever happen to us here on planet Earth, I would be lying to you. There's no way I could make a statement like that. I'm not God. I don't have a crystal ball. There is a possibility something could happen. Are we prepared for it? We've talked about this on this channel. I'm not going to fill you with fear because I'm not afraid. Apparently, a lot of other people are, but I'm not afraid. Um, I think whatever happens, whatever comes our way, we will face. We're adults. Let's put our big big boy pants on and just move on. Whatever comes our way, we can handle, we can deal with, because we're strong and we're tough like that. So, what's going to happen is going to happen. But am I telling you that an asteroid is going to hit Earth? No, I never said that. I never said that. Anyone who tells you that is lying, because they're not God. They don't have a crystal ball. And if they tell you, well, there's this person who is channeling an extraterrestrial, and the extraterrestrial said it's true, I would call bullshit on that. I mean, y'all, at some point, you just have to use common sense. And again, the best thing that I could tell you is do the research. Read the ancient Sumerian texts. One of my favorite books by Zachariah Sitchin is The Lost Book of Enki. I've told you about that over and over again. I don't agree 100% with everything that he said, but I love the way that he wrote it. In my opinion, he took a literary license, put together a cohesive story so that everyone would know the basic fundamentals. He based them on Nubian and Sumerian texts. Um, he also did several other books on the ancient Sumerian text. Um, I have to be honest with you, and for all of you Stitchin fans out there, don't send me hate email, but I found it rather dry and rather boring. Um, as I've said before, I'm a legal assistant, and what I do all day long in the office is read dry, boring legal documents where there's a whole lot of words, but it basically says very little, if anything at all. So I found Stitchin's other books rather dry, rather dull. But if you like them, I encourage you to read them. There's information in there. There's knowledge in there. You can go on the computer and download a free translation guide that will translate the ancient Sumerian text into English for you, so you can read them for yourself. There's nothing stopping you from gaining knowledge. There is nothing stopping you from gaining knowledge. So when people tell you stuff, call them on their bullshit. Ask them where they're getting their information from. I think we should start a movement. um, so that's all I have to say for this video tutorial. It was basically a rant, and this is not a video tutorial I ever wanted to post. But this guy, S.O., cheesed me off in every way possible. And in his, as I said, in his latest videos, is using my own words, my own sentences, my own discussions to bullshit other people, to trick them, manipulate them into giving him money. And I'm one of the freaking idiots who did in the past. I will never do that again. And Esso, if you're watching this video, you can't see me, but there's a big bird being shot your way. Um, Shame on you, dude. Shame on you. And you call yourself a Christian? Really? To everybody else, I'm going to end this video rant. Next one I post, I swear, will be a video tutorial. Go out tonight, look at the full moon, enjoy it. It's going to be beautiful. Look at the stars. They're going to be gorgeous. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all happy. Until we meet again some other time. And again, I promise my next video will be a tutorial. It won't be a rant or a bitch. And never, ever again do I ever want to have any discussion about religion again. I just want to stick to the evidence. I just want to stick to the science. And if I offended anyone from what I said about religion, it was never, ever my intent. Never, ever my intent. So I apologize to you if you took personal exception to it. Um, I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.